Monday morning, I'm doing those goals and reflection, my why, all of that stuff. It doesn't make sense to share what that is, but it is the thing that gets me emotional and fired up, which then makes me be focused, productive, make the most of my week, basically. But I do want to share a screenshot of the initial questions that I asked myself when I did my first ever one. It took me about I booked like a retreat for myself, as in like I booked a hotel room, I picked all the beautiful places I wanted to eat, broke it up with like stimulus for learning, listening to podcasts, reading, watching cool documentaries, whatever it is to help me think differently, putting in things that I love as well, like surfing, bike rides, all of that. So I made my own little retreat, great coffee, that kind of thing. But these are the questions, and this is the system. I'm just going to show it to you. It's not exact. I'm not showing you, like, some of it will seem broken to you, but it is the order of priority and the kinds of questions that I asked myself in those first 4 initial days to set myself up as a human, in terms of like the business and breaking even and that kind of stuff, but also my retirement plans. Like we have a thing called superannuation, and it's where you put money that your employer has to put money in. So when you retire, you have access to that money. But with compound interest, it's better for me to put more money in now to make the most of it while I'm younger. So I was thinking, well, what is that? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live? If I retire at 60, what kind of lifestyle do I want to retire with? And how much money do I need per year to fund that lifestyle? So I figured out the financials there. And also, then I said, well, what if I retired at 55? What would that look like? And that's how I made my I'm putting extra money into my superannuation. This is why I'm saving this particular money in this particular bank account for these reasons. So here's a little screenshot of it. Just to help you think of your own questions. It's basically setting me up for the life that I want to live. It's just a little bit of insight. We actually have a freelancer playbook, and in there is actually my life goals that I've shared in there. You don't need to be a freelancer, you just need to want to recalibrate your life, basically. But all of the activities, how I figured out what hourly rate I needed to earn to fund my ultimate lifestyle. Sometimes it is definitely not as high as you think it is, and then that became my non-negotiable moving forward on how much I needed to earn, and knowing that if I earn that on every every hour or whatever it is that I have the capability to live my ultimate life. And for me, that's things like eating out, traveling where and when I want without time or financial restriction on those decisions. So that's in our freelancer playbook. But then it has daily activities, like I'm doing things daily for my goals. What does that look like? Recalibration, checking in, the life circle calibration wheel, all of that kind of stuff. I just want to point out as well, like I own a business, right? But at the end of the day, whether you own a business or you're employed, you are disposable. You technically need to always think about you're a freelancer. You can be made redundant, you can be fired, you can be let go from employment. Nothing is ever guaranteed. So although I'm saying I recalibrate my goals, I do these kinds of activities to make sure I'm basically calibrating my life. Is this work fulfilling? Is this financial amount funding my ultimate life? Is this setup and structure in my week bringing me joy? So I just want to point that out. That mindset switch is really helpful to know that you are disposable to any other human being at any point, and nothing is ever guaranteed. So I'm sharing the fact that I do the goals and stuff from a human perspective, because you got to love yourself first. If you love yourself first, then you can love others better and more effectively, and you radiate out. So yeah, just that is some little insight, because when I talk about clients, I mean your employer, I mean your employer, your stakeholders, whoever it is. It doesn't, try not to get disaligned or disengaged if I use the word client and you think, well, Kim, you run a business. No, we are all disposable. Nothing is guaranteed. It's about setting our lives up with the structure and systems that allows us to live and lead. and choose and take responsibility for a fulfilling life. Okay, today I'm just going to set you up. I've been setting Vic up for her day. She's the green, and basically she's in project management planning mode. So normally she does this on a Tuesday, but because we're actually kicking off projects today, she needs to get her head into it so she can set the rest of the team up for the week, and we have our task to do. So just letting her know we've got the 2 active clients going, and basically letting her know that today she needs to get us all set up. So she sets herself up with project management planning time every Tuesday, so it doesn't get booked over by client tasks or team things. She sends project updates every Wednesday to our clients, which she shared in one of the previous vlogs. So yes, she's putting that in there because that stuff takes time. And so the importance there is the admin stuff of a project needs to get scheduled as well. You need project management stuff in there as well as like development and project management. I'm scheduling the first project just because we've got lots of moving things, but Vic will do that in future. And I do it on a paper one because I need to visually see it, and then she puts it into our project management plan. We just use Excel. We've got a meeting with the client today, so what I want her to do is we've been collecting lessons learned from when the project was active last year in 2022. Then we had a break, holidays, all that kind of stuff. So we had questions of lessons learned. This is the project kickoff for the new year. So just letting her know. Now, I don't know all the things Vic needs to ask as the project manager, so I'm actually helping her think. So I'm basically saying your outputs are things like scheduling the projects, and we've got 4 of them. You can see them there in those white dot points. So make sure you get what you need to be able to schedule them, who your contact is, the project lead, how the reviews will work, and that we're not doing weekly meetings. That's helping her think. So now in her planning today, this morning, while she's working on this project, she will actually make sure she's clear on her agenda so she can ask questions of the right people in the room. And then other is just context. So just there's a lot moving and 4 different projects and what's going on. So just giving her a little bit of context. Now, it's not too detailed in terms of the context because what I'm trying to do is get the team to think for themselves. I don't have to have all the answers. So she'll come to me with questions likely throughout the day at a dedicated time to share and get clarification so she has what she needs. And the other thing is, and I guess that's just some tips around delegation, is due. So it must be complete today because the rest of the week we're doing client tasks. So setting that expectation. Now I know she can achieve it in that time based on previous experience and the time she'd actually have allocated tomorrow if she was doing it in her normal time. So it's basically the same time that she'd have normally to plan. We do a check-in in the afternoon, and then she goes and executes as well. And just saying, if you have spare time, move your overflow tasks in today so she has clearer days for the rest of the week. One brilliant tip I'll share is we are really respectful of deadlines. In 6+ years, I have missed 3 deadlines for a client when we said we were going to do something and missed the deadline, and that's all on me. I forgot. My systems failed me, whatever it was. So one of the things that we do is we send the project schedule in advance, but just because we might finish the task early doesn't mean that we send it early, because the client or the stakeholders have other priorities as well. So a schedule send is brilliant. So even if we finish something on a Thursday, we schedule send it for the day that we committed to sending it, and we also send it within the working hours that we have established in that initial project schedule. So you'll receive things by 9 a.m. at this time zone, whatever that is. So that is good, because the admin burden of thinking, I got to send that email on Monday, I got to remember to do that. That's too much. When you finish the task, write the handover, schedule send it, and it's done. You're ready to go. And then if it falls through, if it fails, well, rely, like you hope that the system doesn't or the technology doesn't, but rely on the client to say, where is this, basically. So that's how I think about it, and it just declutters my mind. Here's a nice photo of my current environment, work and life as I take you to the afternoon. Alright, my friends, let's see where the rest of the day took us. So Hannah's on RDO, so Vic and I continued with the day. Alright, let me catch you up on Vic. So, as I said, she's doing the project management for 2 projects at the moment. We had a client meeting around lunchtime today, and in that we had, based on her task, she'd come up with the agenda items. Some tips from that. Put the agenda in the meeting invite so everyone has access to it and they can prepare things in advance or come to ask questions, so it's a very productive use of the time. And also, so one of the tips that Vic does really well is, and it's about jumping in and taking control, right? To have a purposeful meeting. So she jumps in, and when we're in there, says, okay, well, we have an agenda today and they've seen it, but this is what's in it. So kind of prompt them. Are you happy to go through this as is, or did you have anything to add to the agenda or urgent to bring up straight away? So anything that's missed, we added on, and then or anything urgent is brought up immediately. For example, this person needs to duck off, so let's answer their thing immediately. So one of the things then with that is, this has been a theme for my day actually. So one of my things was I had a very initial conversation with a new stakeholder who wants to start a project. This is a kickoff to reignite a project that was happening 2 months ago. It's been on pause because of holidays and all that kind of period over the December-January period here. And also just a conversation with a friend that I had today. The number one takeaway from these conversations: 3 completely different contexts, yet they're not. Because if we think about instructional design, it's about solving the true problem. What is the true problem in all of these instances? Is people want to be heard. They will not hear you until they feel heard. Okay, so let me tell you how that played out with Vic's one. Is whenever we run a meeting with someone, we always put their items first, so they feel heard. So the client today, our stakeholder reigniting this project, there was 3 stakeholder groups. There's us, there's the stakeholder who's leading the project, and then there's their main sponsor, but also is an SME in an aspect of the project. So we want them to feel heard. We have the agenda that helps the whole project, our insights, we believe that we're co-creating with them. So we have things that meet all 3 stakeholders. This stakeholder, they said, yes, I have items to add to the agenda. Instead of adding them to the end, we add them to the top of the agenda and we go through them first, because when we do that, that stakeholder feels heard and now they're open to hearing, planning, taking action, making decisions, asking questions for the rest of the agenda items. So that is one tip that I'll share from that particular reigniting project kickoff meeting that we had. Then after that, Vic went into planning. So there was actions items out of that. She captures the minutes. We have a document from that particular project for that particular project where everyone that needs to know something, a project lead, an approver, a reviewer, anyone that needs to know why a decision was made or the action taken has access to the document. And it says, this is the query, this is the solution, this is the journey of the decisions made. So it's literally like, on this date it was discussed, we're no longer doing e-learning, we're actually only doing a face-to-face session now. So stuff like that. And we give that because it's a very complex project. It's happening over the space of a year. There's multiple moving parts. It started with 8 projects. We're now down to 4, and it's just the second half of them need to be delivered. So trying to keep your head around everything. And why are we doing that? And why are we doing it that way? And did we talk about this already? At least everyone can go in and jump in and see that. So that is what Vic was up to. She then had her action items, sent those off to the client, and was probably doing other things that are her overflow tasks as well. So yes, that is the go for Vic. Then mine, so I had a new very first initial conversation with the stakeholder. So I ask always the creative conversation questions. You can go on to the creator hub.𝗵𝗵𝗪𝗔𝗍𝗔.com, and that is where, if you look at the Human-Centered Design Ultimate Kit cohorts, you'll be able to get the free preview. Allows you to understand what questions I'm asking in those conversations, but it is really around the user desired experience, the business problems, businesses desired user experience, and the main question as well to ask is the pain points. Sorry, my brain is, thank you for your patience. I'm not apologizing, but thank you for your patience. My brain is a bit fatigued from all the thinking that happened today. So yes, I asked those questions. However, going back to the theme of they will not hear you until they feel heard. Those questions work. I can go in, I know our process works, I know how much things are going to cost, time frames, all the resources that will make it happen. They can say how they come in and they're like, how can you help us? And I can tell them all the things, but they will not hear all of the things until they're ready to hear. What do we know about creating learning solutions? Give them the need to know when they need it. So just-in-time learning. So it's a transferable skill, this stuff that we do, humans, in learning design. So I say, how can I help? That's how I open these questions. Allow them to express, to feel heard, to ask their immediate pain points, their immediate questions, their burning questions, get that off their chest. So then they are empty and ready to hear me and the value that I will bring to the process. So when I say, how can I help? The next thing is, first of all, I'm getting into problem solving mode with the how. I'm helping them think through how it is they can help get the support that they need. Jesus, we're going into the nighttime here. It's actually a beautiful sky out there. You won't even see it. Not very good with the videographer skills. Outsource your skills that you're not good at. Yes. So how can I help goes into problem solving mode, so that we are thinking about the tangible outputs, the tangible process. Then we're not going into just hear me, I'm talking. It's very focused, and it's allowing them to think about their process. Remembering that they won't hear me until they feel very heard, is I keep asking what else until they have nothing else to say. And then I can help support them and come in with, you had a question around how long these things take. This is from our experience. You want to understand what it might look like. You've never done this before. What is it, e-learning? Do you need, you're going to give us the storyboard or the content. Where does it go from there? And I'm able to now be able to communicate back in a way that they're ready to receive this information. So yes, the key takeaway there is, how can people feel heard? How can you be curious? Create the space for them to feel heard so that they can hear you, and together you move forward with the most appropriate next steps. All right, and then my day continued, and the task that I was working on is planning, a lot of planning, because we're about to schedule our projects. So we got the 2 client projects, but total of 5 projects, and it's an exciting week for the vlog because you're going to get a lot of insight into the moving from the analysis to the content phase, and more of the creativity that we do around how to pick things, to move forward with them for a storyboard and that. So this week will be exciting, and it is the last week of the vlog. So we got 5, actually we probably only have 4 left because I've got a day off on Friday. So one thing I did want to share in terms of what I've been up to is, I contacted the applicants to let them know if they've been successful for the onboarding project. That's really, really exciting to share. And you saw some of those communications that we sent out. So now it's about moving those people forward and letting them know why they were successful or why not. But it was very cool to be able to do that. Tomorrow we're running the competition as well. And I just want to take you to scheduling. So I, at the end of my day around 3 o'clock, have something in my calendar that allows me to schedule for the next day. What have I achieved today? What's hanging over? What needs to be scheduled for tomorrow? And it actually has meant today that I've moved things around because we're in the initial planning sort of phase of things. And Wednesday is normally our team day, but I want our team to focus on something tomorrow and problem solve around our client stuff. So you guys are going to get exposure to that. So our team priority time is actually going to focus on, you're going to come with us an excursion. The team don't even know that we're doing this yet. So the excursion, which is one cool thing. And then we're also going to look at the information mapping, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, that Hannah was working on last week. So we're going to do some of that with Hannah for tomorrow. And also we're going to get prepared and look at a look and feel for a new client that we haven't done the look and feel for, like Word documents, Rise, potentially their e-learning, all that sort of stuff, posters and all that. So that's coming, but it leaves me to the last task. So I spent a lot of my time planning today, and that was reviewing Hannah's insights report to inform how we plan the project, how we plan resources, how we plan time allocation, and getting into moving our week around so that we can, as a team, come together, collaborate for the content side of things for that project. And it is around storytelling. And the other one is the look and feel for that. So we're going to collaborate as a team to then inform the rest of the actions that we take throughout the week. Insert your squeal of delight, because I am showing you our insights report. So remember, Hannah was working on this. It is all the insights that we've gathered from the workshops, the discovery workshop, the brainstorming, and it's now saying this is the learning approach we're thinking, this is how it might happen, and if it is an immediate, a medium, or a long-term solution or idea. Now, we're not going to do all of these. We need to prioritize, and that's what we'll be looking at tomorrow. But what I want to do is I'm going to scroll through, look at that first column. That's all that matters. Graffiti wall, posters, and exhibition, floor stickers. E-learning, first time it has been mentioned. Email series, tip sheet, team meeting pack, posters, comic, shout outs, competition, update role statements, tip sheet, case study, meme, stories, champion systems, tip sheet, meeting pack, case study, stories, tip sheet, activities, survey, card matching game, action plan. Once e-learning is mentioned, if we think about the 70-20-10 model coming into play, Interesting. Training is not always e-learning. Training is not always, face-to-face. These are the methods that we believe we can change behavior or enable change in behavior. And I just wanted to share that with you so that you can see you don't always have to jump to the solution you think. What is the easiest and most effective way to get results? So that is a behind the scenes of our project that we're doing for a stakeholder. Just on a post-work little bike ride in this beautiful landscape. And I just want to, the point of sharing right now is to say around where are you learning from. So don't learn just everything from our industry, really push your thinking. I've just started a podcast. I specifically chose it because I have no interest in it. I've never listened to this podcast before. But what is it on? It's about a hospice nurse death, and him sitting with patients to hear their stories, to write a song at the end of their days that I think goes on to be like their legacy to family and friends. So I will listen to things completely unusual to my normal day-to-day to really help me think, synthesize about the work that we do and the problems we're solving and how we solve them, to try and get sparks of inspiration, because there is many transferable skills. So I encourage you to seek beyond, push your thinking,
listen to people that have different opinions to yours, listen to things that are just very different to our industry, or just change your perspective basically. And again, I'm out in nature. I did, first part of the bike ride was processing some stuff from today, problem solving, and here I am just ending the day. PPS. The intention actually for now was to come out and have a bike ride in this beautiful place to remember my gratitude. The gratitude I use for the life that I've created, the businesses that we work with, the clients, the stakeholders, all of that stuff, and also this spark of gratitude and how brilliant things are. Really, I channeled that back into our projects. I channeled that back into the culture that we're creating. So I came out to seek a moment of gratitude to help me with the next things on my to-do list. Okay, PPS. The universe has just validated those points around a new perspective, because this is the second time I've actually done this bike ride, but I've only gone one way, and today I've come back the other way and there's a massive cave there. So change your point of view, you'll see things differently. Same spot, same nature, but I see what I was blind before.